I think our challenge is going to be to make the issue of residential schools relevant to the next generations. And in order for us to do that, we have to ensure that people understand that this is not an Aboriginal problem, it's a Canadian issue. And that this is an issue in which Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people have been involved now for many generations, and which have affected them in a very fundamental way. While Aboriginal children were placed in residential schools and taken away from their families and educated to believe that their cultures and their languages were not relevant and were not valid and were inferior, at the same time, non-Aboriginal children were being educated in their school systems to believe that their language and their cultures were superior. And that's impacted the way that Canadian society has developed its relationship with Aboriginal people in Canada, and we need to change that. Almost everything related to Aboriginal people in Canada has an unresolved, have several unresolved elements that arise from the residential school experience. And that really is the very question of what is the impact of the school and what is the relationship between the various problems going on in Aboriginal Canada and the various attitudes existing in non-Aboriginal Canada and the residential school legacy. And I think that people will understand once they become informed about how this experience evolved, that there is a very direct connection between the health of Aboriginal people, the attitude of young non-Aboriginal Canadians, the policies of government, the laws and programs that government have put into place, the way that Aboriginal societies have been funded, and the relationship between Canadian governments and Aboriginal governments are all influenced by the residential school legacy, because it's the attitude that people have about these issues that has been most fundamentally created. And so I think what we need to do is challenge attitude, challenge existing perceptions, and ensure that the future conversations are on a better footing. The first challenge, I think, for most Canadians is to just inform yourself about what's gone on, is to understand the connection between that history and present-day Canada. And then to understand that for Aboriginal people living in the same neighborhood as you, they're not experiencing life in the same way that you are. And so you need to understand that, and then you need to accept the challenge that they will place before you, because it's young Aboriginal people who are going to carry this forward as a priority. Understand the challenge that they are placing before you, that things have to change, and you have to be open to that change.